What a fantastic way to start a day after yesterday's debacle, getting to know a lake that I'm very unfamiliar with, and the seagulls and everything else that went with trying to catch a carp. It was wonderful to be woken first thing this morning by a bite that firstly got wedged up in the weed bed I'm fishing up against, so I had to be careful not to get broken off, to carefully apply pressure and get that fish on the move, which I did, and eventually got him into the landing net. And as pleasing as it is for me to do that, I always feel, and I always look down in that net and feel the most important thing now is looking after that fish. I've got the fish in the net, and he's in the bottom of that net, and he's quiet. There's a little bit of weed over the top of him, which helps as well. And he's quiet and he's not flapping about, which gives us all the time in the world to sort everything out. There is no rush at this point. Don't you let your head get filled with the excitement of it all. Obviously put that net down and take it all in, what you've achieved, but think about the carp you've just caught and the things that need to be done. You'll rest in the water there now, just for a few minutes while I get everything sorted on the bank to look after him and make sure I get him back in the water in exactly the same condition that I took him out. It's so vital once you've got that carp in the net and then it's rested to get everything done that you possibly can. There should be no reason to get up from behind the mat to go back to your bivvy, back to a barrow or anything to sort anything out, leaving that fish there to flap around and possibly damage itself. Get everything set up. And then, well, one, it's very, very easy for you, but most importantly, it's safer for the fish. The first thing I did, I opened up my easy mat and wetted it, got it soaking wet. I've kept it in the shade. That keeps everything nice and cool once the fish is laid on it. Secondly, I filled my collapsible bucket up. Filled it to the top with water, obviously to irrigate the fish and just to keep it looking good, obviously for the photographs we're going to take. Next thing, zero the sling. It's all zeroed in. The numbers are flashing on there. It will last until you switch it off. It will stay zeroed. So you've got all the time in the world to take your time and give as much attention to looking after the carp as you can. And talking of looking after the fish, two vital things really. Although hook holds most of the time are very easy to pop the hook out, there are occasions when it will become difficult, and a little pair of forceps can be very, very handy indeed. Most important of all, I want to treat those wounds, and I've got the AquaGuard Fish Care Antiseptic Gel here, and as I explained before, it works a treat. It forms a film over the wound, kills anything underneath it, and doesn't allow any other germs into the affected area. And that's the same with lifted scales or scars on the fish. Of course, if you're on your own and you've got no one to take photographs, you're going to do a self-take affair, whether that's on a tripod, however you're going to set it up. Get all of that set up before. You can focus things or square them off around the unhooking mat, and of course you can edit those pictures if they're a little wonky anyway. Yeah, it's to me, digital cameras have become one of the best fish care products going. It's so quick and easy to do, but set it up first before you get the fish out the water. Retrieving the fish from the water, the first thing I've done is put a pair of chest waders on. You see so many people working around the unhooking mat, they don't want to get down on their knees and get their clothes wet, and it just makes me giggle. Get a pair of chest waders, you ain't got to worry about anything, and you can get into the water to get the fish out, which is a whole lot safer than dragging it to the edge of the bank. Now, when you get into the water and you've rolled that fish down in the net and taken care of it, make sure you can get back out with unaided if you're on your own, because you can get stuck, and the only thing that suffers when you're slipping and sliding is the fish itself. So yeah, make sure you can step back out. The first thing to do then, is a lot of people snip their line when they got a fish in the net, and I have never found it necessary. I simply strip off a load of line and get it down in the bottom of the landing net. What that does is takes the pressure off of the hook, and it doesn't cause any damage by putting any more stress on it. Next thing to do, oops, amazing, pop the landing net. Again, just make sure I've got plenty of line down into the net. Roll the net down to the fish. He's a bit lively, so whoop. Good. I can just pick up the rod. And we're off to the unhooking mat. Don't rush. It's definitely not a race. And there it is, my prize for a first light bite, a stunning little common. I mean, every fish means the same to me, yeah, a wonderful prize, and probably a little male, which made it even more frisky, especially this time of year. He's got his once a season Mayfair out the way, and yeah, they're normally lively as hell. So and it's very often the case, smaller fish are a lot harder to handle than bigger fish, and this one has certainly been the case. But we've covered it every time it's flapped. We've made sure it's come to no harm, and now is the time to slip her back. For me, that's one of the most satisfying things about carp fishing, is watching a carp swim off safely back into his home. I've given it all the treatment I possibly can for any wounds that I may have inflicted on it, and any wounds that probably may have been caused through spawning and other activities. I prepared everything, and I mean everything, before that fish came out of the water, so I don't have to get up, wrap the fish up and go back to the bivvy 2 or 3 times, leaving it exposed to flapping and coming off the mat. That's the last thing we want. So get ready, be prepared, and that moment of joy will be a whole lot better for you and of course the fish.